Hello, I didn't do a video yesterday as I basically got back quite late from NASA, and the day before all I'd done was sit around the pool and eat meat and stuff like that. So I kind of thought, well, I'd do them both together, it'll be better than me trying to string out a whole day off into a video. The day off was pretty cool though. I'm glad we had it. I'm so tired at the moment, but I think we would have been even more tired without the day off. We had a lie in, we got up, we went to the shops, we bought a load of meat and other bits and pieces. When we got back, we obviously stuck them straight on the barbecue. I went in the pool with the kids, convinced Bosco to start swimming down the deep end because he's now got armbands on. He was a bit of a weaker swimmer, and I think I mentioned that he grabbed hold of the lamp up and they both went under quite a bit, so that was a bit dramatic. So now he's got armbands. I had to sort of coax him in the other end, and then I was giving him piggybacks around, and a little monkey's been strangling me, trying to hold on tight when he was getting scared. But it was good fun. We had a great little time swimming up and down. We had a lizard come in our area, so we had like a lizard on the netting going up and down, and we were watching that for a bit. We found a frog in the pool which I let out into the garden bit through the gate. So it was just a nice little sort of morning of sort of little things happening and the kids learning about stuff. And then we once we'd eaten and it started pouring down with rain, and we brought everything inside, and then we spent the afternoon having a tournament on all the. So the house we're in has all this equipment, and I think on the last day I'm going to walk around, I'm going to film the house and show it all off. But the garage has a basketball machine, an air hockey machine, a foosball table and a ping pong table. So we got this plastic thing that we bought the kids as our trophy, and we had me versus Mrs. Sheepdog and Lamp Up and Mrs. Sheepdog's mum. Bosco was on Mrs. Sheepdog's team, but to be honest he did nothing. He just ended up quitting and disappearing to watch videos on YouTube. But no, it was great fun. I suck at basketball, but I'm awesome at foosball. I'm so at the ping pong and the air hockey. We learned that Mrs. Sheepdog and her mum are closely matched on pretty much everything, and Lamp Up's pretty good at all of them, but not as good as an adult. So the thing she kind of had was she'd lose 10-9 at basketball, or 5-4 at foosball, or 3-2 at air hockey, because we were doing best of 3 and stuff like that, and different numbers for different ones. So she was outraged because she ended up with something like 3 points out of the whole thing. Mrs. Sheepdog and her mum ended up tying on about 5 points. I think it was 5 or 6, and I ended up winning on 8. So I was very pleased with that. It was great fun. Maybe I was too competitive, who knows? But I won, and that's all that matters. After that, we just kind of lounged around watching TV and stuff. Really, we tried to really take it easy and not do too much. It's funny actually that I was drinking some beers I'd bought, and someone on Twitter was talking about how Americans don't drink as much as English people and blah blah blah, basically being mocking about it. But I must say I only had 2 or 3 beers, and I felt so odd. I felt so messy because the heat kills you. I think that's probably the main reason that Americans don't drink much beer, because you dry out really quick. So in their defence, at home I'd normally drink a lot more, but here I could drink a lot less and feel worse for it. So I'm trying to tone that down. We went out for a meal yesterday and I had like 1 beer and felt a bit like, oh, I don't want any more. So yeah, we went to NASA yesterday, the Kennedy Space Center. That was really, really cool. It was about an hour and a half drive from Orlando, and I wasn't sure what to expect, because when we got there, it was like all set out as like you'd watch some videos and you'd go into these sort of informational bits, like a music, like the Space Centre in England, to be fair, or like a science museum or something like that. And I was like, oh, I kind of thought they did the launches and stuff from here, so I was a little bit confused about that. So we wandered around all these things. We watched a really good video on the space station, which kind of sidelined into a lot about climate change, which is a big deal and a massive issue facing us at the moment. But I don't know, I kind of felt a bit like, right, okay, I thought you were showing us a video about life on the space station, which it was, I don't know, an hour, let's say it was an hour long video, which I don't think it was. I think it was a bit shorter than that. There's a good, I don't know, 35-40 minutes of like people going up to the station, coming through the hatch, their daily lives, how they cut their hair, how they drank coffee, all these like random things that you'd never think were that difficult, but obviously they are. And it was all narrated by Jennifer Lawrence. And then suddenly it just flipped into this whole thing about climate change, and I thought, I guess this might be a culture thing. I'm on board with it. I believe it exists. I'm pretty sure everyone in England pretty much does, and that's the thing. But maybe it's not as commonly accepted here. I don't know. I thought it was. I thought it was coming out of America. You know, I thought America were the ones pushing it. But the whole video took that long twist and then went on that for quite a while. It was pretty mad seeing the effects that you can see from space and that sort of thing. So it was interesting. I really enjoyed it. But I was just kind of like, how is this still up for, like, oh, I need evidence. It's clear. What else did we see? There was an awesome thing about Mars. I kept badgering Lamp up, telling her that she's going to be the first president of Mars. And then she was quite funny because she started off, no, I won't be, leave me alone. And then we watched the thing where it's talking about landing mankind on Mars. And the bloke said, someone in this audience could be the first person. And it was showing like kids training and stuff like that. And then when I asked her again, she was like, I don't know. So I was like, right, that's it. I've got you convinced. You're going to start going for it. I said, you've got to be the first woman on Mars. And then when they're looking for a president, you can say, well, I was here first. And hopefully they'll give you the job because they've picked presidents for less reasons. So I'm trying to convince her that that should be her goal now. First woman on Mars, first person on Mars, and future president of Mars. Because it just seems feasible. We wandered around looking at other bits and bobs. There was another video we watched about the heroes that had gone into space. My mother-in-law said it was her favourite, and I can't actually remember it. How bad is that? I think my memory probably just a little foggy. They might all be merging into one. But it was about the people that started it all off and how they, you know, the first mission failed. And then we did go into another bit where we watched, it was Apollo 8, the one that went round the moon. We sat in front of their real life mission control computers and saw a video of it all going off, and like we were in mission control. That's very cool. So maybe that's what she means. After that, we went on a bus tour, and I'm glad we did because we almost didn't. We were weighing up whether to bother or not because we had 3 hours left and this was a 2-hour bus tour, and we were kind of like, well, what if it doesn't do very much? It wasn't very clear what the bus tour did. When we got on it, we drove off to the proper NASA bit that I was talking about at the start of the trip, where the rockets take off and where the people do the work and all of that. There were no rockets taking off today. There's one taking off in like a week and a half, so we didn't get to go to the launch pad, which I'm guessing is the reason why they just said, oh, we can't go to the launch pad today. But we did drive around the base of like the thing the rockets sit on, where they wheel them out. There's like this massive machine that goes at 1 mile an hour but gets something like, I think it's 1 mile takes up 150 gallons of fuel or something stupid like that. And when it's empty, it goes 2 mile an hour. It's like, wow, okay. I guess they don't want to be driving too fast with the rockets on them, but that was a bit mad. I wouldn't want to wait for that. That would do my head in, sitting in that, just driving along, like, come on. So yeah, when we were trying to take pictures in the back of this bus. We took the whole back row up, and annoyingly, me and Mrs. Sheepdog sat on the left and everything was on the right, but we got some good pictures of the NASA building. That building is insane. It has like a flag on it, and that flag is a 20-story building or something crazy. And every star on the flag is like a 6 foot by 6 foot star. They said, you see those little holes at the bottom that look like mouse holes? They're doors for people to walk through. And we're like, what the hell? Up close, it's just like a massive box. You're looking up at it, and it's like just this enormous box. It's very impressive that they managed to build such a ridiculously big building. We then went on to, it was the Saturn V museum. So they'd taken an old spaceship that they'd used, and it was unclear to me. I thought it was just a model one, but they were talking as though it was an actual one. And if it was an actual one, I don't understand how they got all the pieces, because most of the pieces kind of get discarded and dropped in orbit, and it looked very polished. So the adult in me and the cynic in me is thinking that's just a model of it, but it did, some parts of it did have marks on it, and I'm gonna have to look that out. I'm gonna have to verify that because it was, either way, it was a true to life size of a Saturn V in all its parts. And as I say, I'm guessing some of the parts it definitely wasn't. Some of the parts might have been. I guess it depends how good and easy it was to salvage. But that was very, very cool. Got some pictures of the end of that. We saw a lunar lander that wasn't used, so it was identical to the lunar lander that was used, but this was one that was never sent up. We got to see, what else? Like, there's loads of models of the ships and stuff, which are very cool. We went out and took some pictures of the launch pad from further away. I got some very good pictures of the building. I put one up on Twitter already, actually. But overall, I mean, yeah, it was a very good day. The kids were very inspired by it all. They thought it was very cool. it was very expensive. I have to say that. It was like 250 quid to go for the family for a day. Now I get it, because I guess there's a lot there's a lot there that was entertaining. Definitely, it was worth it. I enjoyed it, but I also feel like maybe they're treating it like a part for the funding of the whole research they do, you know, because the reason why I thought that was okay, but then they were taking pictures of us all the way around, and when we got to the end and we tried to collect them, it was like another $50-$60 to get the pictures. We were like, nah, you're good. Whereas like with Disney, they just give you all that as part of it, and I think that is quite a recent change. But I kind of felt like, why bother paying all these photographers to take these pictures if you're then not just giving them over? Because surely you could have just not paid the photographers and you'd probably make more money. I can't see how they're breaking even. I can't see many people spending that much money, but that's none of my business. That's my one downside of it, was they just seemed a bit too pricey on those things. We did go in the shop, and that wasn't expensive actually. The shop and the food were inexpensive, so that was very good. You know, I had yet another burger. I've had too many burgers. I'm trying to find alternatives to burgers and steak now. I had ribs at TGI Fridays. That was quite cool actually, although their kids' meals are like massive compared to what we'd have in England. And yeah, that was good. I had one beer in there and felt ridiculous, so I was like, I don't want any more. The woman went and got me water. I think she could sense that I was just like, I don't feel right. She went and got me some water. But then the water tastes different out here, so that was a bit like, but no, it was a really good day. The kids were really happy and the family were really happy. There was plenty to distract the baby with. I mean, that was my one worry as well, that if we were going to sit there... I mean, in the film parts, he was obviously getting a bit fidgety. We did have a difficult bit where he spat his pacifier out, and we couldn't find it on the floor because it was dark. And we were rooting around and he was kicking off. And once we got it back in, like we cleaned it up, put it back on, he was fine. I felt like we were probably annoying a few people with that, but that was alright. NASA's the first place I've been to where they've actually perfected the 3D glasses for shows. Disney's 3D glasses are all plastic and get smeared easily, and they don't quite work right, whereas NASA's ones were all these like high-tech space gadgets that look really cool and worked really well. And when you're not in a 3D environment, you can see a close-up reflection of your own face. It's ridiculous seeing your skin that close out the corner of your eye. That's very interesting. Well, probably not for my video, but it was interesting for me, just being like, wow, look at my eye, it's really detailed. I don't know, I'm going off on one. I'm going to wrap this up here. We are going to the Magic Kingdom again today, so I promised Lamp Up I'd do some filming with her. I feel like I need to get this first one out of the way, and then I'll be fine with the rest of them. I'm nervous about filming while we're out and about and just looking like a bit of a moron or whatever. I know I've done it in the past, but I just feel slightly awkward. We're not doing any of the major rides today, so, well, we're doing Space Mountain actually, so I should be freer. A lot of them are kids' rides that I'll be filming the kids on, or filming reactions on, or that kind of thing, but I'll see what happens. It'll be a good editing job for me tonight, I suppose. Thanks for watching anyway. I recommend going to the Kennedy Space Centre if you're over here, definitely. I also recommend having a good down day with a big barbecue and a swimming pool, because that was fantastic. I don't feel any better rested for it though. I feel exhausted today and we haven't even started. This week's going to be tough because we're doing all the late nights. We're trying to do a parade and a fireworks show tonight. We're trying to do the Rivers of Light at the Animal Kingdom later in the week, and I want to do Fantasmic at some point in the week as well. I think we've sorted out a timetable that won't kill us, but it's going to be difficult. Anyway, as I say, subscribe, like, comment. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all the new subscribers I've gained in the past week. I've seen the number creep up, and that's really cool. Thank you very much for seeking me out, and yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.